Hey everybody, Coop as always, and today we're looking at part 4 of Learn to PK and PvP. In part 4, I wanted to take a look at the game settings. First thing I should talk about when mentioning game settings are third-party clients. Third-party clients are both assets and liabilities for Jagex. Some third-party clients you might be familiar with are RuneLite and LSBuddy. Those are currently the only approved third-party tools for old school RuneScape. Personally, I prefer RuneLite due to its free-to-play style. So that's what I'll be using to demonstrate in this video. First we're going to cover the RuneScape settings and then we'll dig into RuneLite. Let's start in Lumbridge at the Magic and Range Tutors. Alright, so here we'll find the Range Tutor and we could talk to them and ask them option 30, can you toggle my ammo to equip when I pick it up? Okay, so I'm going to show you here. So if we drop it before doing that and pick it up, it goes straight to our inventory. But now, if we enable this, we drop it, boom, it's equipped. Cool, huh? And then the magic tutor does the same, but it says runes, so I don't know if that'll work with these sacks when you're looking at the loading bag. I haven't tried it. We'll turn this on and see if it works. Section 2 for this one is going to be item settings. If you right click a few PvP items, there's some options to configure. So the looting bag, if we right click it, we can choose settings, and then we can make it store as many as possible. That way, if you're looting stuff, you don't have to mess with one at a time. The save as accumulator accumulates arrows passively over time and places them in your inventory or ammo slot if you did the first part of this tutorial. And while PKing, we don't care or want these free steel arrows. Right click, choose commune, and make that dead chicken understand. We don't want to accumulate random metal items. Alright, section 3, let's go ahead and talk about RuneScape options. So I'm just going to run left to right, top to bottom here. So in the control settings, player attack options needs to become a normal part of your routine. Whenever you kill somebody, you have to disable it, and then whenever you prepare to enter the wilderness, go ahead and re-enable this. Left click is your most effective option. Now, NPC attack as a PK or PvPer, it's based on the environment you're in. Say, for example, if you don't want to attack the revenants, you'll turn it off. But if your prey keeps escaping you to the hobgoblins, you'll want to leave it on. An ideal scenario to have your NPC attack on is when your prey is fleeing through the monsters. Being able to attack the monster off of your prey will require quite some patience and left click options. Accept aid off. This is a scam of sorts. Only turn it on when you know you're going to be using it. And run energy can be temporarily enabled and disabled by holding control while you click. But as a PKer, we'll be attempting to keep this enabled at all times. The house option should be set to teleport inside and doors off. And all of your buns should be immediately donated to Project. Thank you, thank you. Diving straight into all settings, we're going to have a look at the relevant subjects here. So activities, no. Audio, off. Chat, enable profanity filter. And this needs to be enabled for many reasons. 1, your video. 2, your ego. 3, their ego. And a quarter down the page is loot drop notifications. Let's go ahead and turn this on. We're going to want to put this minimum item value here, and this will work for PKing. There we go. I do have some. Look at that. How cool is it? Middle mouse button controls the camera. Yes. Shift click drop items. Yes. And let's pause here and talk quickly about keybinds. This is how I like mine. You may prefer yours other ways based on how you've used your hands growing up. My combat styles and spec page is the escape button. I believe this is a PK layout and not a PvP layout. F1 is magic, F2 for inventory, F3 for prayer, and the rest are irrelevant. I suppose you could get another key for your equipment, but that's really advanced. And then at the bottom here, we'll just enabled and enabled. Moving on, in display, we want to turn hide roofs on, and the scroll wheel can change zoom distance. In gameplay, as we discussed, accept 8 is off, and food and potions can form supply piles. This says this stuff doesn't go to death, it just falls on the floor. So I like that. I think it's useful. Moving on, interfaces. The game client layout is highly debated, but I prefer this resizable classic. It gives this interface the proper size format for items and all of that, and the layout, and then it also allows you to stretch it. So I'm a fan of that. Be careful, however, the further your opponent is from your inventory, the harder it becomes to click on them. Now if we scroll all the way to the bottom here, we'll see the resizable section. I do have this on, but I haven't bothered with transparent box. I like to shrink it myself and just disable it, really. Now if we go to warnings, I'd just go ahead and leave all of these on. Now if you go to the bottom, item drop warning. Alright, that's about it for Runescape settings. Let's have a look at RuneLite. Alright, I'm going to go top to bottom here as well, since, the way they're listed on my own client. Just going to try and breeze through this. Hopefully we'll get through it quickly. Okay, key remapping. The personal favorite. I agree to remap the camera to not only work with the arrow keys, but also the WASD keys. F key remapping also makes accessing the keys, positioning, and muscle memory easier. Attack styles is important for pure accounts. By enabling Warn for defense and remove Warn styles, you'll never be able to see you'll never see 2 defense on your account. Ain't that lovely? Don't look. The bank plugin isn't exactly special, but I use it. It's nice to see that value up there. This boost information here, that's what you see in the top corner. Boom. The camera plugin, camera expand limits are good. Gives you this kind of thing. You can't see past the render distance, but it does give you a pretty nice overview, so you can see what you're looking for. Chat timestamps are nice. The combat level plugin, this will show you if you go to your combat tab, you can see the combat calculator right here. Emojis are a fun plugin. Friend notes allow you to right click and add notes to your friends. Ground items are a big deal. I'd show highlighted items only. Do not hide untradables. Show menu item quantities. And then if you scroll down here, we can collapse. Ground item menu. Highlighted item loot beams are a fun little feature. Only highlighted items and above will show, and not all of the default items. Like this. And ground markers. So you can change the color of this to whatever you want. And then if you shift right click, you can mark the tile. If you shift right click again, you can label it my tile. You can come up with plenty of things to do with those. Now the high score panel plugin, this thing's pretty default, good and standard, but it's nice and useful. This inventory setups, this is a favorite of mine. I found this not too long ago. Let's go to the bank. I'll show you. Alright, so these are the options on this plugin here, and I didn't mess with any of them. I just came over to the plugin over here, this little dude, and then as you can see, view the setup, and it'll show you the gear that I saved here. So this setup corresponds to this account. And as you can see, it's fairly similar, some slight variation. But now, so if we come here, I have my bank tab set up a certain way. We'll go over that in another video. But using this, here we can enable bank filtering, and we'll turn on view setup. And now it filters my bank to show only the items that are on this list. You can right click them to toggle fuzzy, and it'll show all of the charged glories, or all of the different capes, or hats, or doses. Item charges enabled, item stats enabled. I run low detail myself, got a bad computer. And menu entry swapper is a huge plugin. So here's just a couple things. Customizable shift click. This allows you to shift, right click, configure shift click, right click, and while holding shift, you can choose. So, once you're in here, you can right click item and choose drink, use, empty, drop, whatever you want shift to do. Examine doesn't seem to work. And yeah, then you right click save, and now it'll do whatever you told it to. The most important part of the menu entry swapper for PK is this option here, the bank deposit. We want it to eat, wield, etc. And this allows us to so while we're in the bank, we can hold shift and equip items, or drink items, eat items, wear. I think I said wear. I use the minimap plugin to customize player NPC colors on the map. Object markers are like ground tiles, but for objects. The prayer plugin enabled. Player indicators enabled, but customize this to your taste. It could get messy. The regeneration meter, that's going to be around your globes here on the minimap. I'm using a resource pack simply for the dark theme. Looks quite nice, I must say. Leave a comment and let me know what you think. Not of me, the dark theme. Screen markers are good for learning muscle memory. This is what it looks like, and then so here you can click add, and now you would hover something in game, you can click it or draw your own. Click check to finish, and now you know where your magic potion is. Here's a practical application. You're new to PKing, click teleblock, accept, give it a nice little teleblock in color, and now we know exactly where our teleblock is. One more, just so you could make your screen nice and dirty. There you go. Now you know where your spec bar is at, and you know where your TB is. The skill calculator is nice, but this is more of a PVM thing. The special attack counter, that's going to be useful. And the status bars are cool. Those are the red and blue bars you see on my interface there. Timers plugin enabled. World map, they fixed this. Thank you, RuneLite. Enabled. And XP drops. Enabled. Well, I know this was a real boring one, but that's part 4. Now you guys should be able to configure your interface and get your game working at a high efficiency. Push the buttons. I see a lot of you are enjoying this, and I really hope it's helping you guys. We gotta revive the wilderness, get Jagex back on it. Push those buttons for me, would you? Peace.